This episode of KSTV is brought to you by Gem Creative, custom designs, printing, web designs, SEO, and more.
Hey, how are you, everybody? It is March. Woohoo!
Yes.
And this is Ron, and I'm...
Hi, I'm Ron.
I guess...
you're Henry. No, Kevin.
Right.
This is the Ron and Kevin show. The Kevin and Ron show. This is us.
In all our splendor and glory.
Yes, beauty.
And I must say thank you to everybody who's been kind enough to write us, I should say, and express their devotion to the show. It's really awesome.
Yes, and admiration and all that sort of stuff that you guys are into. Please.
It's a good thing I wear a big hat because my head has been getting a little swelled, so it's still okay. And you know, if you got a better name for the show than the Ron and Kevin show or the Kevin and Ron show, the Gong show maybe would even work. But whatever.
The Wrong show.
The Wrong show.
The Wrong show.
Oh,
that comes close.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go with the Ron show for now.
Okay.
All right.
The Wrong show.
The Wrong show.
You're on the wrong show.
Okay. I think we are.
Let's
go to the next topic.
Yeah, let's go.
You know, now that the COVID restrictions have kind of been loosened a little more.
Yes.
What's your take on that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think when I start talking about COVID, I go back the 2 or more years sort of thing, and I say, what was this that was really coming at us?
Right.
And various interpretations that we've had over the last 2 years have just blown my mind. Family-wise, I have part of my family that we're going to remain unvaccinated. Thought, okay, I've been through this. It's a flu. Well, it wasn't quite a flu. It was tough for them, but
yes,
they got through it. And so that part of it, the health thing, and trying to figure that out has been really difficult.
It has been. It's put a lot of divisiveness in some families, unfortunately. It's put a monster strain on the healthcare system. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have just gotten in a bad mood.
Well, why do we have trucker convoys, or why do we have freedom marches, or why do we have... I think what I see is acceleration that COVID provided, more than anything else.
True.
There were questions already arising about this and that, about everything from science to politics to truth to the range is just crazy.
It has been, and unfortunately, like I said, it's caused a lot of divisiveness. But I think maybe now we'll start to see a little more. I'm going to use the term normality. If that's
go back to United States. They had a president who came along in the early 1900s, and he coined the term normalcy. He didn't like normality or normalcy. So we're going to return to normalcy because it's now the new normal.
Which president was that?
Harding was his name.
President James Harding. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm old, but not that old.
Okay, let's try that one out. So no, I'm not going to go how old you're. So what were your thoughts on COVID, by the way?
Well, I'm kind of glad that we're loosening some of the restrictions. I think people have been under the gun for too long. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sense of I want to get out of here and go travel, which I totally get. I don't want to be kept in my house anymore. I want to go do things and not be told what not to do.
Right.
So from that point of view, I don't either. However, respecting the whole thing, what's going on, I will do what I need to do to keep myself safe and my family safe.
Yeah, and I think that's part of watching as we go along with restrictions lifting and all that sort of stuff. And all of a sudden, the one side, which was, wow, we're doing it right, now becomes the side is, well, you guys are doing your thing now, and you're thinking that my thing isn't right anymore. And so polarity is almost ready to start once again.
Yes. Because
some of us will keep wearing our masks and some of us will not.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
However,
we think it's okay.
Well,
and I sure hope so, because that's where a civil society lives.
It's very tough right now to be in society in some ways. I'm sorry to say that, but it is.
It is.
Because you don't know who you're going to offend by saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend you tonight by saying anything wrong.
Well, that offends me that you wouldn't be. I'm totally offended with you being. I knew it too. That's just the way things are. We're so offended that we should end this whole show at this point.
I'm offended by that because I'm not done.
What?
I guess we are done.
We're done.
We're told it's done. Okay. See you next time.
News sponsored by Impact Energy Services. There when it matters most. Infinite. SaskTel's fiber optic network is coming to Kinnersley. SaskTel has announced Infinite. SaskTel's fiber optic network is coming to Kinnersley. For those wondering, SaskTel will contact residents when your address is ready for conversion to the new fiber optic network. The SaskTel Infinite fiber optic network replacement is an ambitious multi-year initiative that will replace the current copper-based network. SaskTel has invested over $100 million into their network to bring Infinite to over 40 rural communities by the end of 2023. If you have any questions or concerns, please visit www.sastel.com or call 1-800-SaskTel. Free HIV self-test kits available province-wide. Saskatchewan residents are now able to test themselves for human immunodeficiency virus. Free HIV self-test kits are available to the general public at 23 locations across the province. These self-test kits can be done at home, provide preliminary results in just 1 minute, and only require a bit of blood from your fingertips. Test kits can also be purchased online and delivered directly from the manufacturer to your home. When HIV is diagnosed and treated early, people can live longer and healthier lives. Knowing quickly if you have HIV also allows you to take precautions against spreading the virus to others.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
I'm back. Are you back?
Yes, my back is back.
Cool.
And my front too. So
Nice.
I don't want to affront you, but let's.
You didn't.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I was worried.
Oh boy, I tell you.
You know, we've been having a hard time coming up with subjects. And today, we don't have that trouble today, though, fortunately.
I'd like to put it another way. We don't have a hard time coming up with subjects.
Okay.
We talk a lot, like we're always talking. Coming up with something that you might want to hear, that's the question.
Right, so make sure you write in and let us know what you want us to talk about.
Would you? We would love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And one thing I would like to talk about in this segment, Ron.
Yes.
Do you know what the fastest growing cities or towns are in Saskatchewan?
You know, up until about a short while ago, I would have said something, but now I do know because I did read an article about it.
Oh, you cheated.
I would have said Lloydminster or maybe Meadow Lake because they've turned into cities. They've
Yes.
grown.
Yes, they have.
Also, but Warman, Martinsville.
Yeah.
What is with that?
Well, you know, I think they're just close enough to Saskatoon.
I think
they're
probably, yeah.
15 minutes
Yeah.
approximately. So the commute time is really minimal.
Yeah, very much
You
so.
don't want to commute from Kindersley to Rosetown or from Rosetown to Kindersley. So
No,
that's
definitely not.
Especially not in the weather we've had this year.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. You'd slip slide. No way. Yeah. It would have.
Paul Simon. I
Yeah.
know that one.
Oh, good. I do
I'm
too.
not old, but not that
Okay.
old. Thank you.
Exactly. Back to Warman.
Yeah, you know what? They are just growing by leaps and bounds, and
Yeah.
they've got some great things going on up there. And I guess that's what's attracting them. The people from Saskatoon and other areas there.
I think part of it too is a sense of it's small town. We can talk to each other.
Right.
And they have been administered well. I'd have to say that, just having driven through the town, seen the facilities,
Yes.
the services,
Yep.
that type of thing. I don't know if the plan was, well, 10 years from now, Saskatoon's going to empty out, so we better be ready for them, or what exactly the vision was. But they've done a great job.
They have, but pretty
very-
soon, though, it won't have that small town feel. It'll be a bigger town.
It's not going to be. My brother lives in a small town in Ontario. What was a small town called Georgetown?
I've heard of that. Okay, yeah.
Which now, because so close to Toronto, is not a small town. It is a city. And
Right.
So, which is, can Warman and Martinsville do that? Is that
Wow.
a Saskatchewan thing?
Are people getting really tired of what's happening in the bigger cities? I mean, I used to live in Spruce Grove in the mid-'70s, and
Yeah.
it was just under 5,000 people back then.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
And now it's, I don't know how big it is now, 30,000 maybe? Or more?
Yeah, it's turned out to be a fairly large center.
Absolutely, and that's only 15 minutes from Edmonton.
Yeah.
So smaller towns do have their advantage. However, they may not have that advantage for as long a time as they think.
Yeah, and keeping small. Well, I'm going to go into my own experience with with the church, and having worked in church for a number of years, you can start with the small church.
Yes.
It's all about people, about relationship, about community. And then you move to the larger, and now it becomes all about administration, and for the quotes good of the group, you do what everybody in the group's doing, and there's no individuality, no community, and it can break down unless you purposely work at that community and that social bonding that you need.
And that's very important.
But small towns moving to city. Well, let's ask ourselves the question, Kindersley people, how many of you did not want to become a city? Now, I was around in that point as we discussed that.
Yep.
There were people that were vehemently opposed to being a city. Others, on an organizational level and common sense, just said, we should become a city because funding would be available. We
Yes.
could do this and do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I think, even though we haven't gotten to that status yet, I still think we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Better than okay, actually.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
we could
think
be
so.
doing an awful lot worse. We could be in charge of the town. You don't want
Yeah,
that.
wouldn't that be fun? You would just, can you imagine let's play a little off
Ooh,
that. So
wow.
if we were co-mayors, what
Wow.
would be your vision for the city? I mean, the town.
The town, of course.
Yes,
well,
the town.
Well, that's a good question.
Isn't that a great question?
I think
Yeah.
free cake on Wednesdays.
Okay. I like the idea of what we're doing, Better Together Tuesdays. That's a great one. Get people
That is a
together,
good one.
wander around, be with people.
Yes.
Yeah, let it, yeah.
Better Together is a great. It's a great organization,
Is that
by the
great?
way,
Yeah,
as well.
I
I
like
am part of that, and the chamber's part of that, and
Yeah.
I think it's extremely important.
I do too. How do we keep ourselves as a community and not as a institution? Which, I mean, playing off the two words, unfortunately, their definitions are interesting.
Well,
but yeah.
I think if more people cared for one another,
Yeah.
we would have not as many issues.
Right.
We have enough between the two of us for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
However-
like your glasses aren't as good as mine. And
No.
So this is an issue.
Well, it
Because
can be.
it's the way I see things. So
And if I have to put on your glasses, I'm not going to see things the same way.
yes, I have a different vision than you do.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and my level of seeing things, I have bifocus. I can see things in many different ways that you can't.
Wow.
Wow, how did we get there? That was really interesting. Yeah, but
As a co-mayor, I think we could do okay.
we could, wouldn't that be great? By the way, vote for us.
Yes, please.
Co-mayors, Kindersley, Saskatchewan,
Absolutely.
Canada.
Ron and Kevin.
Yes.
See ya.
Kevin and Ron.
Sports, sponsored by the Tint Doctor. We've got you covered. Justin Close added to the Mike Richter Award watch list. Kindersley native Justin Close of the Minnesota Gopher men's hockey program has been added to the watch list for this year's Mike Richter Award. 4 of Close's wins have come against top 12 nationally ranked teams, while 6 of his 10 starts have come against teams ranked in the top 7 nationally in scoring offense. Prior to joining the Gophers, Close was a 2-time SJHL goaltender of the year with the Kindersley Clippers. In April, a committee of voters made up of coaches, administrators, scouts, and media ultimately choose the winner, who will then be announced. The Kindersley Social U9 Clippers. The U9 Kindersley Social Clippers have had a successful start to the season. Not only have they played a lot of games this year, but have also seen a few wins. Before Christmas, they attended our first tournament, winning 2 out of 3 games. Most recently, they had their home tournament and were able to defeat Saskatoon, winning the B final. To finish off the season, their league playoffs are March 12th and 13th. A big thank you to coaches Kyle Adamson, Reed McBride, Balin Atkinson, and manager Krista Finley for what has been a successful season so far.
Hey, Ron, we're back.
Yeah, we are.
And-
And Kevin, you're back. Thank you.
And my back is back.
And we're moving right along.
We are into March already.
We are.
Can you believe it?
It's hard to believe.
We marched into March.
That's right.
We're neutral already. Wow. In this segment, we thought we'd do a movie review, and one that I've been
Yes.
watching, and I don't think you've seen it yet.
No, I have not seen
It's called The Irishman. It's about 3.5 hours long, actually.
Really?
It is. It's the story of Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay.
And if you ever followed the story of Jimmy Hoffa, he was a Teamster union leader.
Yeah.
And he
was the king.
He was the king,
basically,
of the castle. Absolutely.
No question about it.
He was. And he got a little bit too much power. Everything went to his head. And he was basically taken out. And his disappearance has been a mystery for a lot of years. And it fueled a lot of speculation.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard so many different versions of where Jimmy Hoffa ended up, from in the river to underneath something, or wherever.
I think he's working at an IHOP in Georgia, but I could be wrong.
He could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
He's with Elvis.
Yeah, him and Elvis.
Yeah.
But he's probably in a wheelchair by this point. It was a few years ago.
It was. An interesting depiction from the alleged killer, a fellow named Frank Sheeran, who started off as a union worker, worked his way up to be Jimmy's bodyguard, and then in the end, supposedly was the one who killed him. And according to the movie, he was just carried off to a crematorium and burned.
Which would make sense.
It would.
Because then we wouldn't find him.
No, you're getting rid of the evidence.
I know.
He's not in a cement can at the bottom of a bridge abutment or anything.
Yeah, I was waiting for, I thought they'd just fly him to the moon. And,
with technology...
Sing a song about that, fly me to the moon. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, see, Jimmy would have loved that.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were a soprano.
Well, thank you. I'm a godfather. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's a whole other.
That's another movie related, but it's related, but not quite.
Another,
yes. So 3.5 hours. It's really interesting. Robert De Niro plays one of the main characters, Frank Sheeran. Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
And Joe Pesci plays another mob boss.
Whoa, that's a combination. Yeah.
What a movie, I'll tell you. And it's directed by Martin Scorsese, I should say. Mm-hmm. He's a very popular director. And those guys have all worked with him in a lot of movies. Goodfellas and Casino and stuff like that. If you're into the mob kind of thing.
No, I'm not. No. But yes. Gotcha. I've heard of them.
Yes, and they're all good movies. And again, apparently based on true stories, those other movies too. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
So,
well, the whole Jimmy Hoffa story, and I just take a little sidelight here, but I grew up with as a younger, I'll call myself younger at that point, as the Jimmy Hoffa story emerged. What I began to get was this sense of dictatorship. What do they say? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
And this was the story that we kept hearing about Jimmy Hoffa, how he ran this blue collar group.
Yes.
And this blue collar group, he was ready for them to take over the world.
Yes.
Or he wanted to take over the world as the dictator.
Yes.
Would that be a fair assessment of what the movie's saying as well?
Yes, I would say it was. I think the power did go to his head, and he really wanted to be in control of everything.
Yeah.
And it's too bad. However, that's unfortunately one of the side effects of too much power is the greed and the loss of reality, maybe.
Yeah.
However, it's still a great movie, though. Again, I can say it's 3.5 hours long. Pretty action-packed, actually. You'd be surprised for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, knowing the Jimmy Hoffa story, you'd have to have action because he seemed to be a lot into the action. It was pretty deadly from the stories that I heard about Jimmy Hoffa.
Yes. Yeah, he was not a nice guy.
No, I guess not.
He was not a nice guy.
Okay, so watch the movie.
Please. And then let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And then next week, or next month, pardon me.
Yes.
I'll let you pick the movie, too, that we're going to...
all right, I'll come up with one.
I'll be gracious enough to allow you to pick a movie on your own show.
Sure, sounds good, VeggieTales. Right. Okay, whatever. We'll come up with something.
Go with DuckTales. Okay. See you next time.
Weather, sponsored by Achieve, the science of growing.
Welcome to spring, or sprinter as I like to call it, where we see all kinds of weather, including snow and rain. Meteorological spring starts on March 1st for the months of March, April, and May. But lots will celebrate the first day of spring as the spring equinox, which falls on March 20th of this year. So far, right now, we're seeing mild temps that feel a lot more like spring in the area. And I'm sure at this point, most people are ready to pack away all that winter gear and pull out the flip-flops. But I remind you, this is Saskatchewan, and March will bring us some moisture in the form of snow, especially at the beginning of the month. Compared to last year, we've seen a milder winter, but March can always bring us anything. In case some of you guys need a little reminder why it's not quite time to pack away that winter gear yet, I'll show you a quick recap of our March 29th, 2021 record-breaking snowstorm, which was our third of the season in the winter. So here's a quick look back at that.
Just as those of us in the Canadian prairies were hopeful that spring had finally arrived, our third major winter storm setup was forecasted for March 29th, 2021. The howling wind had me up before my 4 a.m. alarm, rechecking forecast models for the day. By 4:45 a.m., I was ready to go and popped on to my first live stream of the day. Snow was falling at a steady rate with winds of 50 kilometers an hour gusting to 70 by 6 a.m. It didn't take long for visibility to reduce to less than a kilometer. And by 7 a.m., winds stepped it up to 84 kilometers an hour, gusting to 96. It was clear nobody was going anywhere that morning. With absolute zero visibility, schools recommended students stay home, and road closures had anyone needing to travel for work that day staying home. The 85 kilometer an hour sustained winds and gusts reaching upwards of 120 kilometers an hour lasted for 6 hours straight. Most times I couldn't even see much farther than my arm's length away. Winds ripped through, causing damage to buildings, property, trees. Large signs were toppled at businesses, highway signs snapped at the base, and even grain bins tossed in some areas. Around 3 p.m., the snowfall tapered off a bit, finally allowing a view of the area around me. Just over a 3-foot snowbank that had built up during this storm, I saw someone else I didn't even see the whole time that rode out these crazy winds and snow with me. Around 4 p.m., I ventured home before darkness fell to a semi-warm house. The huge wind gusts caused major problems with our power, knocking it out before 9 a.m. By this time, SAS Power had received 9,000 outage reports. With highways closed in much of the province, it took time before crews could get out to repair the lines and restore power to communities. The community of LaPorte, 10 minutes away from me, was without power for 30 hours, causing houses to dip dangerously close to the freezing point with no heat. In the wake of the storm, the province was left digging out yet again.
We will see what spring has in store for us this year, but I'm hopeful we can see some moisture in the area that will help fuel those spring rainstorms we so desperately need to get out of that drought cycle. And I won't lie, I'm hoping on a few more fun winter storms to play in yet this year. So far, forecast models are looking near normal temps for our spring with a few fluctuations. We will see a slight increase in our stormy weather season, but likely the precipitation will fall as snow. So this is why it's not quite time to pack away that winter gear. This is Jenny Hagan with Kindersley Social. Happy spring, everybody.
Hey, I'm Kevin.
I'm Ron.
And this is the Ron and Kevin Show.
Yes.
Well, how come I introduced myself first?
Well, it's just part of life. You know, we see ourselves, the perspective, the community that we create becomes. Oh,
that's a
the
great
community! What a great segue!
I was just going to say that.
Know, isn't that
Son
amazing?
of a gun! You've been reading my mind.
There? Yeah.
Wow, that's
Do you know what we're going to
dangerous.
talk about today?
We're going to profile Kindersley.
Yes.
That's
what
where
a great
you
place.
and us, me and him, live.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful town.
It is, absolutely.
That's right,
And
yeah.
I don't know if you've been walking around downtown lately.
I have. Well, I don't always walk. I sometimes drive downtown.
Okay.
Because I live on the other side of town.
Okay.
And you know, in a town like this, the other side's way over.
Way over.
Yeah, way over
But
there.
if you could walk,
Yes,
you
if
would,
I could walk.
You could spend some time
Yes.
gazing at the new community billboard, electronic billboard.
I know. I couldn't believe how many pixels were in that thing.
I don't know how many are in there. A
lot of them.
trillion or so.
Yeah, I
we
think
can
so.
do a lot of colors with it.
Yeah.
Which you noticed, I'm
I
sure.
noticed, yeah.
I believe we can also do video on that. So maybe we'll have you and I fly up there and video.
Wouldn't that be great? One day,
Wow.
we'll just have us there, and oh man, you can all watch us downtown.
Yeah, but you can't listen to us. That's the problem. It's no audio. I know.
Okay,
It's
we'll work on that for next time.
It hurts.
Big boom boxes. Oh no, that's old. Big speakers.
Right.
We'll do something.
we will. I don't know what yet, but we'll do
No,
something.
but it is a beautiful.
It
sign.
is, and it really adds some spice to the downtown,
Yeah,
which
and-
I mean it needed.
Yeah, and so I mean it advertises, but it also gives a presence.
Yes, and it
to
showcases
the town
certain
itself.
businesses,
Yeah.
which is great, I think.
Yeah,
This community is awesome, in my opinion.
I agree.
We're into March. What does that mean? We're going to march into spring? Are we going to spring into summer?
We're going to spring forth
We could do that.
because January, February, March, April is the fourth month, so we're going to spring forth into April.
And I'm going to use one of these.
Yeah,
I might even play golf with it.
is that right?
I might.
You know, I've got a left-handed set that I don't use that I'm
Really?
ready to sell, but I've got my right-handed. And, you know, I just want to talk a little bit about golf. I grew up in a day and age where I started with par 3 golfing,
Okay, yes.
which is a great thing.
Yes.
And I had to walk or ride my bike. I did not want to carry 6-10 clubs. So I learned to play with a putter, a 5-iron, and a 1 wood.
Okay.
And so when I golf, that's what I golf with. I don't
Interesting.
need any more clubs.
That's actually a very creative way to learn.
It's a very cheap way to learn.
Okay,
Thank you.
I was being polite.
Yeah, I know.
However,
But I love golfing. It's
That's great.
a great, yeah. And the course here,
it's not
Excellent.
bad. It's not bad at all. I've been fortunate enough to have some success out there.
have you?
I have.
Have you scored the hole in one thing, no hole in one thing?
Not on this course.
No,
I
me
have.
neither.
I have once, but at a course down in Minnesota. In
I see.
the early '90s.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gravity was much better back then.
Well, I was sea level. It was
Oh.
different. Trust me, it makes
I
a
believe
difference.
It does, okay.
Trust me.
I'd have a ball with that one, I'll tell you.
Hey, what you do, you go with what you know,
Yeah, okay, sure.
and we don't know what we're talking about right now. We haven't got
But
a
you
clue.
want to show up at the Kindersley Golf Course.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful place.
It is, and you know the walking trail is right across the street.
Yeah.
Beautiful walking trail. It's just been recently repaved,
Yeah.
so it's you're not going to slip and fall unless you slip on the ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they've extended it. It's even longer than it used to
Yeah.
be. So it's wonderful.
I agree, and I mean I've watched over the years, and it's been a number of years
Yep.
developing, and now it is a great place.
It's a showcase for us,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is great because people go fishing there in the summer, actually in the winter too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet.
I have tried ice fishing, and then my wife gets mad. She says, "Where are you going to put the ice?" I said,
Exactly.
"Well,
I was going to
you know,
say, yeah, that's the problem with that.
got a
You
big
had to fish around a little bit to figure out where to put it. Yeah,
This,
gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like the
Okay,
story. We're fishing around.
So here's my other question. What
Yes.
else is happening in town? I understand there's a pharmacy on its way here.
There is a new pharmacy coming to town
Yeah.
in the East Crossing. It's called Willow Grove. Mm-hmm. And it'll be opening up maybe April, May, somewhere in there, which will be a great addition to the East Crossing.
Yes.
A local fellow here is going to be setting that up and having that, so I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
What else have we got going on?
What else is new?
Well, it's not new. It's going to be a Goose Festival.
Maybe not new. Yeah, Goose Festival.
That'll be in the last weekend in September. That's happening again
Okay,
this
that's
year.
all set. Great.
Yep, you betcha.
Great.
Chamber, which is me, going to be doing well, I don't mean just me, but
Yeah.
the Chamber is putting on the parade, which is good,
Excellent.
and
Excellent.
looking after the gathering of the information for the poster and stuff. So I've got some great help on our board, which is awesome. Takes the pressure off me.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And there's a potluck coming up at the museum in this month too, on the 15th. If you can make it out, 6 o'clock at the museum, potluck, and there's going to be a pool tournament. Do you play pool?
Well, my problem is it ices over, like my pool.
Right.
So I
May want to bring skates.
okay, I
Just
could
in
do
case.
that. Yeah, I'm taking the cue from you that I should bring.
Oh, that's a joke.
Oh,
Pool
a joke!
cue.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, good.
son of a gun.
So what day is that again?
That is March the 15th. That's a
Okay.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, March 15th. Come for potluck.
Potluck,
Out to the
and
museum.
potluck, bring something to eat and bring a pool cue if you want, or just use the
Cool.
ones that are there.
Okay. Yeah.
Boy, it's going to be busy. Hopefully the museum will be open up this year again.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the beginning of May for that, to get the tourist information booth open.
I've watched the museum over the last number of years.
Yes.
Sat on its board a number of years ago.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see the progress and the continued improvement there. What would you say is sort of the great attraction that I mean,
Wow, there's so many cool things out there you
Yeah.
can look at and
Railway
that are on
station.
display. I mean, the railway, the old Brock Station,
the old Brock Station,
There's
yeah.
the old Eaton House. There's
Yeah.
a Smiley Church. There's an old
which is the way all churches should be. Let me just a little plug for churches. Smiley.
There you
Church.
go.
Okay,
I knew
sorry.
it needs new ceiling tiles, but otherwise that'll be done this year.
Okay.
They've already got them.
Okay.
There's also a school out there as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of other outbuildings, lots of old equipment. A
Oh,
lot
the
of
old Clarion building.
the old Clarion.
Yeah,
Yes,
isn't that- that's a hoot.
it's just full
Which
of
nobody
stuff.
knows what the Clarion is. But if you are old enough, you will understand the publishing industry once had the Clarion.
And I've got clarity on that now, so we're good.
You do. I'm glad your vision has
Yeah.
returned. That is great.
It's a good thing my glasses are
so
working,
you want
so-
to come to Kindersley.
Absolutely.
This is a great place. Love it. Excellent.
Lots going on, and that's our profile. Maybe next week we'll profile your town.
Yes.
Tell us where you're from. We'll put you up next.
That's right.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.
Till then.
Events sponsored by Royal Flush, the company for septic services. The Bromatics are coming to town. Formed in the summer of 2013, the Bromatics are a Saskatchewan six-piece that formed a sensational tribute to the 50s. They also perform original music following similar chord progressions while working within the perimeters of the genre. The contagious genre of music, combined with their high-energy stage performances, has proved successful in creating a nostalgic atmosphere that also promises to have everyone twisting the night away. The Fitzgeralds promise a high-energy night out. The Fitzgeralds are a family group with roots in Canada's re-owned Ottawa Valley. The Fitzgeralds have evolved to include a wide variety of material in their performances, including Celtic fiddle pieces, high-energy step dancing, and a strong focus on original compositions and arrangements. In 2017, the Fitzgeralds went viral on Facebook via Ireland's leading newspaper, with over 7 million views on their original choreographed dance routine. Be sure to come on out and see them.
Hey, we're back.
Yes, we are back. I'm Ron,
I'm Kevin.
and this is the
Ron and Kevin Show.
yes, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I never know what's going to happen with are we Kevin and Ron this week, or are we Ron and Kevin this week?
Well,
Sometimes,
because of our age difference, I may defer to you as the leader.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. As the wise and almighty, I feel that we should move on to our topic for the day, brother, which is the Great Resignation.
Yes.
Have you started to run across some of that? I'm running across that more and more.
People are just kind of had enough. They're fed up with their jobs for whatever reason, and it could be pandemic related. A lot of burnout, a lot of stress,
Yeah.
a lot of extra hours, a lot of what do I do next?
Yeah.
And it's causing some people to really, really seriously look at their career options.
I think for quite a while, and I'm sure many of you would say this too, that the idea was to keep a job in order to have money, in order to have a family, in order to, and so we rode that
Yes.
sled down the hill.
We did.
And now we're coming to the bottom of the hill and realize this is not that nice.
No, there's got to be more to life than the stress I'm going through, more to life than
yeah.
the burnout I'm feeling.
You know, when mental health issues arise and keep rising and rising, it's an indication that we're starting to rethink. And I think that is a good thing at this point.
Absolutely, it is, because you don't want to stay at a position where you're unhappy or you're not productive, and you can cause all kinds of troubles by staying on too long. Unfortunately,
Yeah, attitude in jobs and that type of thing. Now,
Yes.
having said that, we have to also come to another side and say there is a whole side to duty and to fulfilling responsibility, and your job becomes then that duty side.
Yes.
In order to have what you want at home.
yes,
So, do you want to resign a job that actually gives you money and has little responsibility? But I think what we're talking about on our side is The great resignation is about people that have great responsibility and want to get out of it.
Yes, and I think some of them were probably, I'm going to use that term, probably contemplating that anyway.
Yeah.
This just kind of hastened their decision to move on.
Yeah, this whole last few years has accelerated all sorts of issues, just like crazy. So if there was something a little bit on the ground floor, now it's on the second or third or fourth floor.
Yes.
And the Great Resignation has become part of that. I think of someone who's been in and for me personally, I know them. They're in an administrative position in a post-secondary institution.
Okay.
They've had to go through COVID restrictions, keeping people in line, just so many hair pulling, and they still have their hair. But so many hair pulling things that they finally said, well, you know what do I really want to do? I'm in that high responsibility area. What could I move to that would not create my bodily deterioration? To be quite honest, my mental health going down.
Yeah. A lot of people, I believe, are kind of falling back on their hobbies.
Exactly.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Really, it's okay, because if it puts you in a better place, you're going to be more productive, you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
You're not going to want to go out and do some harm to somebody.
So if we talk about hobbies, and that's what people are falling back on.
Yes.
Oftentimes our hobbies, we go into them as arts type of people instead of crafts type of people.
Correct.
We may do
Yes.
crafts,
Right.
but we're turning it into an art form.
Right.
Do you think our society will become a much more artistic society over this next little while than a crafts manufacturing society?
I would say yes, because it's more expressive for people. They can get more emotion out in say, a painting or a
Yeah.
drawing.
Yeah.
It's easier to, we do this with young kids. How do you feel? They draw how they feel.
Right.
And I think this is a perfect, I won't say antidote, but a perfect way for people to release said bad feelings.
Now, having said that, and I'm going to go a little into the philosophical thing here, but an arts community tends to be creative based, but
Yes.
not organizationally based.
Correct.
And the problem with the creative base oftentimes is that you have no stability or long term. So even though you want to move out of the great stresses that you have, you were in a place that was well organized. You knew that it was going to continue. If we move into an arts society, will we have the ability to let other people organize us? Or do we lose freedom when we say that?
That is a great question.
And I hate to say it, but we're talking about freedom here, which has been coming up all over the place
Yes, it has.
nowadays. And I think our artistic bent in which a society goes begs the question of how much freedom can we actually give but still remain stable as a society?
That is an awesome question, and I cannot answer at this time.
I can't answer either. I hate to have to wait 20 years to find out, but
Well,
let's see what happens.
Yes, and I know that we don't have to wait 20 years for the show to end.
You're right. I think we should maybe end it
On a high note,
on a high note, right up here.
right here, it'll probably back here. I'd like to say
yeah.
the end.
Yeah. The end, see? Okay, we're done.
See ya.
Hi there, it's Perry Lewin, Municipal Enforcement Officer for the town of Kindersley.
And I'm Constable Zach Sohm with Kindersley RCMP.
Constable Sohm and I are here to talk today about a couple projects that the RCMP detachment and the town of Kindersley have been working together on. The first one we're excited to announce is something called Project 529. It's the world's largest and fastest growing bike registration program and currently has over 2.2 million bikes registered.
And the thing about Project 529 is that it allows the RCMP to return property, the bicycles registered, to the owner without having necessarily the information registered directly with us at the time of the reported theft. If the bike is registered, the information recorded to that bicycle can be looked up by any jurisdiction working with Project 529, and the property can be returned.
Right, and I'll have access to that information as well. So if a bike is stolen, you report it stolen to 529, it'll come up on our back end access and we'll be able to look out for that bike. And if I happen to recover it or the RCMP happen to recover that bike, we're able to quickly return it to the rightful owner. Now, you may be concerned, but I want to make sure that you know that the 529 project is committed to the owner's privacy, and owners do not need to provide any personal identifiable information. Only a valid email is needed. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you register your bike, or how do bikes get registered into the 529 garage or Project 529? The first step is that you can do self-registration online.
Registration is also available at bike shops that are participating in the 529 Garage project.
And registration via the 529 Garage app. The next really exciting announcement is the partnership between the RCMP and the town of Kindersley on a bike rodeo. This is going to be the first event in 2 years that's going to be hosted, so I can't wait. It's going to be on Saturday, May 14th, and we're going to run from 1 to 4 o'clock.
Rain or shine, at the WCEC, we hope to see 3 age group sets of approximately 50 youth participate in the bike rodeo.
Right. Online registration is going to open at 9 a.m. on April 1st. Not joking, it'll actually happen. And early registration will end on April 18th at 9 o'clock as well. And for those that register within that time from the 1st to the 18th, they're going to be put into a draw, and they're going to have the chance to win a brand new bike supplied by Supreme Source for Sports.
Registration for the bike rodeo will conclude at 9 a.m. on April 29th.
Lunch is being provided at no cost to participants thanks to a generous donation by the Kindersley Co-op. We are asking, or requiring I should say, that parents of youth 12 and under stay at the WCEC while their kids are in attendance.
Thank you for taking the time to view this video, and the town of Kindersley, Kindersley RCMP, and Kindersley Fire hopes to see you at the bike rodeo on May 14th.
That's right, the firefighters will be there. They're going to help out with some things. We have some great volunteers that are going to be coming out, and of course our great sponsors, Source for Sports, Walmart, and Co-op, of course. So we'll see you out there. Please stay tuned to the Town of Kindersley's Facebook, our website, and as well, again, make sure you're always watching Kindersley Social.
Hi everyone, be sure to grab a free copy of our bi-weekly print issue in over 50 locations across Kindersley. Also included in our magazine is the free Kindersley Social Extra, where we publish things like community events for nonprofits and obituaries for free. If you would like to be featured in our magazine or have something advertised, please email hello@kindersleysocial.ca.